You might have a concealer sitting in your makeup bag right now that you've been using for months, maybe years, without ever really questioning it. You picked it up because a friend mentioned it, or you saw it at the end of an aisle and the shade looked close enough. Maybe you assumed that if it sold well enough to be on that shelf, it must be fine. That concealer could be doing its job beautifully. Or it could be settling into your fine lines by noon, irritating the skin around your eyes, or containing fragrance that's causing low-grade inflammation you've been blaming on something else entirely. The point is, you probably don't know. And that's not your fault. It's a category that doesn't get nearly the scrutiny it deserves. Here's what makes concealers particularly confusing. The dermatologist tested claim you see on packaging means the product was tested on humans under the supervision of a dermatologist for tolerability. It does not mean a dermatologist designed it, endorses it, or recommends it. Those are three completely different things. In the United States, cosmetics occupy a regulatory gap. They don't require pre-market approval from the FDA the way drugs do. And there's no mandated minimum standard for what dermatologists tested actually proves. A single test on a small panel of people is enough to print that phrase on the box. In Korea, cosmetic regulation happens under the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety. And while that system has its own limitations and has not stopped consolidation or marketing exaggeration in the Korean beauty market, one thing the culture tends to enforce more rigorously is ingredient transparency. Full INSI listings prominently placed and a stronger consumer expectation that actives come in effective concentrations. That matters when you're buying a concealer that claims to hydrate. What I've learned after decades in this space is that hydrating, on a label, is not an ingredient. It's a feeling. Hyaluronic acid at 0.5% is an ingredient. Those are different conversations. So today I'm going through 8 drugstore concealers that dermatologists genuinely and specifically recommend, not because they tested them, but because the formulations hold up under real scrutiny. We'll go in order, from the ones that are solid but come with something worth knowing, to the one that genuinely rises above the rest. And for each one, I'll tell you who actually makes it. Because in this industry, that's often the most interesting part of the story. Let's start. Number 8. Revlon Color Stay Skin Awaken 5-in-1 Concealer. Revlon is one of the oldest names in American mass-market cosmetics, founded in 1932. What most people don't know is that Revlon filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in June 2022 and emerged from that restructuring in May 2023 as a privately held company called Revlon Group Holdings, LLC, now owned by a consortium of its former institutional lenders. The brand is still on shelves, still manufacturing, but it went through a significant financial and ownership upheaval. The Color Stay Skin Awaken Concealer earns its spot here because the formulation includes caffeine and vitamin C, two ingredients with real evidence behind them for the under-eye area. Caffeine has demonstrated vasoconstrictive properties that can temporarily reduce puffiness, and vitamin C in stable form contributes to brightening over time. Dermatologists recommend this one specifically for dark circles that have a vascular component, that bluish-purple tint, not just pigmentation. The limitation, it has a somewhat heavy feel, which can emphasize texture and fine lines if you don't apply carefully and set it well. Also, it's in the Color Stay family, which prioritizes long wear. That formulation can feel drying over the course of a day on mature skin that already runs dry. Number 7. CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. CoverGirl started life with the Noxzema Chemical Company in the 1960s was acquired by Procter & Gamble in 1989 and then sold to Coty Incorporated. In 2016, Coty is a publicly traded company based in New York that owns a large portfolio of mass-market and prestige beauty brands. So when you pick up a CoverGirl product at the drugstore and think of it as an American institution, you're technically buying from Coty. The True Blend Undercover Concealer made its way onto dermatologist recommendation lists for one specific reason. It contains hyaluronic acid and sodium PCA, which is a naturally occurring skin moisturizing factor, a genuinely solid humectant rather than just filler ingredients. It's lightweight, blendable, and the formula avoids parabens and is fragrance-free. For women with combination skin, it reads well because it doesn't go flat matte or overly dewy. What to know? The shade range, while improved, is still limited compared to some others on this list. If you're deeper than a medium tan, you may struggle to match. And Coty brand in the prestige space means heavy marketing investment. The product is priced fairly for what it delivers, but don't let the packaging nudge you towards something more expensive in the same company's portfolio without checking ingredients side by side. Number 6. NYX Professional Makeup Bear With Me Concealer Serum. NYX was founded in Los Angeles in 1999 by Tony Ko, a Korean-American entrepreneur who built the brand by keeping prices low and quality high. She sold it to L'Oreal in 2014 for a reported $500 million. That's the ownership reveal worth sitting with. NYX looks and feels like an indie brand. It's still sold as one, still positioned as one, but it has been a subsidiary of L'Oreal's consumer products division for over a decade. L'Oreal also owns Maybelline, Lancôme, Kerastase, and many others. That's not automatically a criticism. L'Oreal has significant R&D infrastructure, and the Bear With Me concealer serum shows it. Dermatologists point to this formula specifically because it contains aloe vera, cucumber extract, and vitamin E, ingredients that address the irritation and dehydration cycle that can happen around the under eye area, especially for those of us with thinner, more reactive skin as we get older. The coverage is medium and buildable, which is ideal. You want to blend concealer into skin, not paste it over. The practical caveat: the applicator is a felt tip style wand, which some people love and some find too precise for blending over broader areas. Worth testing before committing. Also, full disclosure, this is an L'Oreal product through and through, budget or not. Number 5. Almay Ageless Hydrating Concealer. Almay has a genuinely interesting history. Founded in 1931, acquired by Revlon in 1987, and now, following Revlon's bankruptcy restructuring, it sits inside the same Revlon Group Holdings umbrella we discussed at number 8. But Almay's original founding story matters here. It was created specifically for a woman with lupus who couldn't tolerate conventional cosmetics. From the beginning, the brand's identity was built around sensitive skin formulation. That origin shapes the product philosophy in a way that's real, not marketing. The Ageless Hydrating Concealer is the one dermatologists specifically recommend for women with dry or mature skin who are struggling with the creasing problem. Its formula contains niacinamide, which addresses uneven tone and mild hyperpigmentation, hyaluronic acid for moisture, and vitamin C and E as antioxidant support. It's fragrance-free, paraben-free, and hypoallergenic, meaning it's been tested to minimize allergenic potential, not zero risk, but meaningfully lower. For those dealing with the concentric ring pattern of creasing that happens around mature under-eye areas, this formula's balance between slip and set is one of the better ones in the drugstore. Revlon's ownership is worth knowing because the brand has been through recent turbulence, but the formulation itself has held up. The shade range is 8 shades, functional but not expansive. If you're deeper toned, check availability carefully. Number 4. Physician's Formula. Gentle Cover Concealer Stick. Physician's Formula was founded in 1937 by an allergist named Drive Frank Crandall, reportedly to create makeup his wife could tolerate while living with lupus. It was acquired by Marquins International in 2012, a privately held California-based company that also owns Wet n Wild and Lip Smacker, among others. So while Physicians Formula positions itself around its medical founder story, it's now part of a broader cosmetics conglomerate. Not a scandal, just useful context. What earns it a spot here, and specifically from board-certified dermatologists and allergists, is the actual formulation commitment. Physicians Formula publicly avoids over 150 known irritants and allergens across its product line. The Gentle Cover Concealer Stick is fragrance-free, non-comedogenic, and has been recommended by dermatologists and plastic surgeons. The latter specifically because it became a go-to for patients who needed coverage during post-procedure recovery when the skin is genuinely compromised. There's a yellow-tinted option in the line that works on the color theory principle, that yellow cancels purple blue, making it genuinely useful for under-eye circles with a bluish cast. A technique Korean makeup artists have long used as a first layer under a skin tone concealer, rather than relying on one product to do both correcting and covering. The honest limitation: the formula is older, the shade range is small, and the stick format can drag on very dry skin. Use a light moisturizer or eye cream underneath first. Number 3. Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Maybelline is owned by L'Oreal, and unlike NYX, that's not a reveal so much as a well-known fact. But it's worth saying because L'Oreal's scale means its brands share R&D resources, and the Fit Me concealer reflects that. This is one of the most frequently cited drugstore concealers in dermatologist roundups, and for a straightforward reason, it has a short, clean ingredient list: glycerin for hydration, chamomile extract, vitamin E, it's oil-free, fragrance-free, and non-comedogenic, and it comes in 40 shades. 40. That is rare at this price point and rare at this quality level. And shade diversity matters for skin health. Using the wrong shade and compensating by applying more product is a common trigger for both caking and pore congestion. One thing worth naming: the formula does contain methylparaben and butylparaben. Parabens are a topic where the science is often misrepresented in both directions. The current position from major regulatory bodies, including the FDA and the European Cosmetics Regulation, is that cosmetic parabens at the concentrations used in products are not established to pose a health risk. Some individuals do have paraben sensitivities and may notice contact allergy reactions. But contains parabens and dangerous are not the same statement, and it's worth being accurate about that. If you have known paraben sensitivity, this may not be your product. If you don't, this formula is excellent for the price. For mature skin specifically, the lightweight liquid texture doesn't cling to texture or set lines in the way heavier formulas do. Apply with a patting motion, not rubbing, not wiping, and you'll get significantly better results. We'll come back to that technique. Number 2. L'Oréal Paris True Match Eye Cream in a Concealer. Yes, Two L'Oreal products in the top three. The company's R&D investment is real, and it shows up in specific formulations like this one. L'Oreal True Match has been one of the most consistent dermatologist recommended lines at the drugstore level for years because the core product, shade matching, is genuinely sophisticated. The True Match concealer line is built around warm, neutral, and cool undertone categories across a wide shade range. And getting undertone right is one of the single most important factors in whether a concealer looks like makeup or looks like skin. The eye cream version contains 0.5% hyaluronic acid, a stated concentration, which matters because it means there's enough present to do something, not just appear on the label, and is fragrance-free, non-comedogenic, ophthalmologist-tested, and paraben-free. Dermatologists specifically recommend this for mature skin with under-eye dehydration because the formula does address both coverage and the moisture loss that makes under-eye areas look worse under product. Limitation: it's an L'Oreal product, same parent company as Maybelline and NYX, all on the same shelf at your drugstore. If you want to diversify your supply chain, you'll need to go elsewhere. Also, the newer Radiant Serum version with 1.5% hyaluronic acid and caffeine is a stronger formula if your main concern is dark circles with puffiness. The eye cream version is better if dryness and fine line settling are your primary problem. Number 1. Neutrogena Healthy Skin Radiant Cream Concealer. Neutrogena was acquired by Johnson & Johnson in 1994 and has since moved into the Kenvue portfolio. Kenvue is the consumer health company that spun off from Johnson & Johnson in 2023 and is now publicly traded separately. So the brand has been through a major corporate transition recently, but its dermatologist relationship is the oldest and most structural of any brand on this list. Neutrogena's strategy of working closely with dermatologists predates the modern derm-tested marketing era. The brand has been positioning itself through dermatology offices since the 1960s, and that built something durable: genuine formulation feedback from practicing clinicians, not just endorsement. What makes the Healthy Skin Radiant Cream Concealer the top recommendation, particularly for women over 45, is the combination it achieves. The formula includes retinyl palmitate, a vitamin A derivative, vitamin E, and peptides in a cream base that reads as a skincare makeup hybrid. Dermatologists recommend this specifically because the cream texture doesn't exaggerate texture or settle into expression lines the way liquid formulas can, and because the vitamin E and antioxidant complex supports the skin barrier rather than just sitting on top of it. I should say this clearly. Retinol palmitate is a milder vitamin A form that is not the same as prescription retinoids. The data on retinol palmitate in cosmetics is genuinely mixed. Some studies suggest photoprotective effects, others have raised questions about behavior under UV exposure, and the scientific consensus is that it hasn't been proven harmful at cosmetic concentrations and it hasn't been banned by any major regulatory body. Canadian products carry a label noting its presence, which reflects a more cautious regulatory posture, not an established safety finding. This means use sunscreen over or after this formula, which you should be doing regardless. The formula also comes in a range of shades with warm and cool undertone options. It's ophthalmologist tested, it's fragrance-free, it covers, it conditions. And for skin that has started to thin and lose some of its moisture barrier, it behaves like a product that understands that. Now that you know what's in these products and who makes them, here's what to actually do. Read the undertone first, shade second. Most concealer mistakes happen not with shade depth, but with undertone. A product that's the right depth but the wrong undertone will look like a mask. Warm skin needs warm-leaning products. Cool skin, especially those blue-purple under-eye circles, needs a yellow-toned or neutral base. Try the shade on the inside of your wrist, not your hand. Wait 60 seconds. Pat, don't rub. This is something Korean makeup artists are taught early, and I've said it for 30 years. Rubbing concealer onto skin moves product, stretches it, and pulls it into texture. Patting, tapping lightly with a ring finger or a damp sponge, builds coverage without disruption. For mature under eyes especially, this is not optional. It's the difference between the product working and the product aging you. Prep the area as if it were skin, not canvas. Apply a light eye cream or moisturizer before concealer and let it absorb. 2 to 3 minutes is enough. Dry skin under concealer cracks the formula. Hydrated skin holds it. This is the skincare first principle at work. You're not covering skin, you're working with it. Check fragrance on the ingredient label, not the marketing. Fragrance-free on the front must be matched by the absence of parfum or fragrance in the NCI ingredient list on the back. These should match. If they don't, or if a label says naturally scented or essential oil enhanced, and you have reactive skin, be cautious. Fragrance, synthetic or natural, is the most common source of cosmetic contact allergy, and the skin around the eyes is among the most sensitive on your face. You came into this video with a concealer you've been using on autopilot. You can leave with a much better understanding of what's actually in it, who makes it, and why the ones that dermatologists genuinely stand behind are built differently. That knowledge doesn't require panic. It requires curiosity. Read the label, check the undertone, pat it in. You know what to look for now. That's the whole game.